So let's look at the map veto, see where we're actually going to end up playing. As you can see, Liquid will be on defense, Immortals will be on attack. But the question is, where are we actually going to play? Well, we're about to find out. Now, we're looking at, again, just to build on what you were saying, we're looking at a team in Immortals that had the fragging potential but needed the support and decided to fix that by getting more support. And we're looking at Liquid, who had the fragging potential, but now have decided also to get more fraggers, forcing those fraggers into support roles. And that is definitely viable. I've seen great transformations of players many times, going from being the fraggers to being the support players. It's going to be Consulate, though. And if I'm being honest, that's like the fragger map. It is one of the fragger maps that is so good if you could just take fights and win them.
Up there with Bank
Up
as
there,
well.
yeah.
Absolutely with Bank. I would say that Coastline as well, typically what we see. Of course, it's an attacker map. You're going to have a lot of roamers. You have to be very careful about the way you roam on that too. But so Consulate can be a bit structured though, especially when you look downstairs. But
yes,
we'll see exactly what you think. You don't know the map, but you still weigh in anyway. And wow, that is actually quite surprising. I would have put it the other way around.
Okay, so...
But all right.
My logic is I'm imagining people are loving to hate Liquid these days, considering unless this is like backwards, because it is a little bit confusing. But the only logic I can come up with to explain that is that people are loving to hate Liquid these days because they are not living up to expectations. But at the same time,
But the other thing too about Liquid is the last time we saw Liquid, and the only time we've seen Liquid in non-just Brazilian competition was at DreamHack Winter. They made the trip all the way to Sweden to compete. They made it to the quarterfinals. They struggled a little bit on the way to get there, but they took G2 to a third map and came pretty darn close to knocking G2 out in what was a very exciting matchup. And it worked. There was, even Shaz said this, that they pulled things off. The coach of G2, for those that are wondering. He said that they pulled things off that they've never seen from other teams before. The way that they ran operators, the way that they started their strats, the way that they entryed. It was impressive, to say the least. And I would imagine that against Immortals, this is going to be just an absolute bloodbath between these two teams, man. That's what I think.
No, I'm on the same page with you there, Parker. I think if we've ever had a match that's set up for a draw, this is it. Either this is going to draw, or one of these teams just has no idea how to play Consulate, which I find incredibly unlikely, especially considering none of the bans are random yet. You have 3 bans.
That's correct.
Get rid of the maps you don't know how to play. It's that simple. So these teams have got to be very comfortable where they're going right now, and I'm imagining it's going to be, just as you say, a bloodbath. An absolute brawl. And I very much look forward to it once we actually get into the match. But and it's definitely one of those matches that's impossible to predict. I like that we saved it for last. I think it's appropriate.
I mean, we didn't get to choose.
Right. But I like that we saved it.
It's not like we came in today and we were like.
But I like that we saved it for last, though.
This one's going to be the last one of the day, right here. This match, right here.
It just happened. It just happens randomly, but I still like it, though. Is the point.
We don't do that.
I was trying to say the best for last thing.
Best for last.
That's what I was.
It's a cliche. Is it a cliche or is it an idiom?
It's one of them, I'm sure. But
it's
pretty cool.
Somebody will correct
It's
us.
pretty cool, isn't it? Because this is a good match. Anyway, hey, we're actually going to go play the match now. Here we go. Consulate will be loading straight on in. Again, will be Liquid starting on defense and Immortals on attack.
A little bit of trivia for everybody. This is the only map in the game that is located in Africa. It's located in Côte d'Ivoire, or Ivory Coast. It is a French consulate in the Ivory Coast, for those curious.
Do you know what, Parker? That's really interesting.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah. Band starting out here. Liquid gets rid of Jackal.
Jackal is interesting on consulate because he doesn't see I want to say that he doesn't see that much play on consulate. He does see some play, but a lot of it is from his smokes. And because he's got a good gun and he's got a shotgun as a sidearm.
No, I have. I think we saw at DreamHack Winter, actually, a couple people bring Jackal specifically to clear the roamers from top to bottom. Because you know how it is. It's the top to bottom clear. No matter where you're attacking, really. You're starting at admin, usually. And he makes that clear just a little bit more efficient. But at the same time, he's also not essential. And I feel at times, whenever he is brought on Consulate, part of me is just screaming, that's a crutch. You're just trying to lean on that so that you can, you know, split apart your manpower, push people elsewhere, split up the jobs. And the risk that you run with that, of course, is that you make the line a lot thinner on what you're trying to accomplish. So when you're trying to clear those roamers out and it's just a Jackal instead of a Jackal with somebody droning him in, or instead of an Ashe with somebody droning her in, it's, again, there's less potential for refrags. It runs the risk of thinning the line. So I don't really know how I feel about the Jackal ban. I do like the Jaeger ban, though. Jaeger ban is going to be so very, very good for the attacking teams, but more important for the team that banned Jaeger, and that's Liquid, who will obviously be relying heavily on throwables when they get to the attacking half.
So we've gone through an entire playday without Mira nor Maestro being banned.
So weird. It just feels awkward.
What was going on with the icon?
I think it's the spectator kind of like doing, you know, like with the just two keys.
I believe that's called the Uber Micro.
The Uber Micro.
To Uber Micro.
Is that really what that's called?
It's from an old show.
I don't know it.
I don't know if anybody's gonna get it. I don't know how many people are gonna get that.
Well, there's definitely a few people.
We'll talk about it.
Okay, we'll talk about it later, for sure.
10 seconds left.
He'll tell me later.
Yeah, we talk about this stuff in private.
So it's going to be
5 seconds
a
remaining.
basement defense first, and that stands to reason, given that Thermite was banned out by Immortals. Now, Immortals obviously are going to be expecting the basement defense first, because they banned Thermite. So they have brought the proper kit to deal with the basement defense, despite not having the Thermite.
Also, just wanted to note that the community build was actually backwards.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well.
It was backwards.
I tried to justify it to
You did well.
To the best of my ability, but it was a reach. Yeah. So that makes sense. That makes sense. That Liquid would take that. It's gonna be a roam here from Liquid, just reaching out the tendrils, looking for some action, but not getting too aggressive.
I want to see the way that they play Gohan on Liquid as a focal point for this matchup in particular, because he did a lot of IGLing work on FaZe and also played the aggressive flank and entry roles, and sometimes he would alternate with Astro for main entry and follow-up. I think that there's a great discussion that can be had involving this game and IGLs who also frag and don't play on supporting roles and what they can and can't bring to the table and the limitations that your IGLing abilities have when you are primarily tasked with also getting kills. So, but that is a much broader discussion here. Is Navi's on Repel, hits a goo mine that is embedded in the window frame, and then of course also tags the alibi and will get spotted, and he's going to have to fall off of the Repel. As Liquid is just playing full court press, but oh, Navi's does not check his corners at all, and the phone call comes out a little too late. As Navi's goes by to Nesk. Paula gets caught out by M-King, all the way down by Zulu.
So that's a good refrag. But it's not a full clear here for Immortals. They still have to deal with Nesk playing in the bathroom. And with only a minute left, all he need to do is wait. I mean, he's done a great job of delaying thus far. Gohan's going to support him by C4ing Cyber, who was aggressing on the bathroom door. So that is great coordination between Gohan and Ness. Good communication there. Gotta appreciate that.
Looking to break the backs of Immortals here. If they lose Bullet or if they lose M-King, then you lose far too much utility to be able to carry this onwards.
What?
Oh, Nesk somehow evading all the bullets of Bullet as PX does grab the refrag, but losing almost all of his HP in the process. So he's going to be a shadow of himself as M-King will have to join him and they'll transition. Oh no, Sexy Cake just a second too slow. Gohan is there and both Gohan and Sexy Cake will jump in and they'll each grab the kill that they need. And a round that was spent with the defense playing on that second and first floor on Consulate, as is pretty commonplace, end up with Immortals failing to transition towards the site at the bottom, and it will cost them the very first round.
It's an excellent start for Liquid. Honestly, that round was pretty much over as soon as Immortals had to spend more than 2 minutes clearing out the top floors. Really didn't have a whole lot going for them as they pushed toward the site. Weren't able to open up the drop downs. Why? Because Nesk is still in the bathroom. It's really good to see Liquid starting off so well. And I hope that they're able to continue it forward. Immortals, on the other hand, really showing an inefficiency to clear out the roamers. Now this is interesting. We don't see this every day, I guess, or at all, often. It just doesn't happen. Liquid going to be going to the new site on Consulate. Some people often forget that it even exists. But Liquid are bringing it to the forefront.
We don't really see it
at all.
At all. We've seen a couple teams run it. They've mostly been EU teams. Then, of course, Cloud9, who have become the new Flipside, who became the new SK, who became the new Dark Zero now, if you go through their entire lineage here. One of the teams in North America who is very well known and for, I would say, infamous at playing sites that we don't see all that often. It appears that in North America, Cloud9 has taken up that mantle, and it's really see a lot of diversity on these sites here from Latin America teams in regard to this Teller's Archives defense. So it'll be nice to see it. Of course, it's going to be brought out by Liquid, if you recall. I said that Shaz said that we saw things out of Liquid that we haven't seen before, and I'm very curious because going to sites that you don't typically go to, that's where you're ripe to be very innovative on that.
And it's definitely one of those things. So we'll see how or if it works out for Liquid. They've got the right kit for it, though. Zig, using that pulse sensor, will be able to gather a lot of information. They've got full control of the top floor. They also extended a roam in the bottom floor with the Legion of Nesk and the Bandit batteries from Gohan to delay the push horizontally from the west side. But Cyber, coming down from the spiral stairs, might have found a gap. But Gohan actually is going to be peeking into those stairs, laying down some fire, forcing Cyber to take a passive angle. He's trying to bait out the peek from Gohan. Thus far unsuccessful. And you can tell why. It's Zig calling out this push, using his heartbeat detector to say, hey, don't challenge it.
The one thing that this new roster of Liquid does is allow a lot of flexibility on who plays what. You saw Gohan running the pulse first time around. Now it's going to be Zig, and it's going to pop right back on and see a heartbeat really, really close. At least it sure looks like he's going to be able to see that heartbeat. It didn't actually show up on screen, but yeah, it absolutely should be there. And he's primed and ready. The Dokkaebi of Cyber is not going to push the issue. Just situated at the door by the bottom of spiral stairs, watching ever so patiently. Immortals has used quite a number of drones, or have used quite a number of drones to try and get this information just to push out Zig, and haven't really been all that successful. All the while, there's still somebody from Liquid way up top. Paula the Mute is in a great position to strike, and there will be somebody on Immortals who will need to be on flank watch. It'll be Navi's. Will find said Mute, and Paula from Liquid will not be able to get back to help the rest of his team.
Good positioning from Liquid overall, but they've got a very shallow defense of this bottom site. Sexy Cake, a good position above, though, to help out. Gohan will also get the entry from Cyber. Shut him down. Thorn in the side of his team for quite a long time, but he goes down. Bullet will refrag. Ness gets one for himself as Navi's also eliminates Sexy above. Gohan and Ness, the last two defenders, and they're both downstairs, which means the A site left undefended, allowing for a potential defuse plant. Gohan's gonna eat some damage. The C4 might deny this plant, actually. Oh, Gohan, excellent placement, whether he knew it or not. So little time, and Navi's on very little HP, but M King is able to eliminate Nesk, leaving Gohan also on low HP in the 1 versus 2. M King gets the final kill. Excellent job from the Capitao, salvaging that round.
What looked like it was going to be very hairy in terms of time management for Immortals. They end up getting it at the last second, and that's because you had the Zofia up top to grab that defuse after the plant gets stopped from the C4 of Gohan. A great read from Gohan in order to grab the kill that was needed to stop the defuse. So, very close.
Yeah.
For both teams, it ends up being a coin flip at the end. That site is so hard to defend for a lot of teams that if you don't have something ready, well, you're going to get absolutely trampled I think what they were intending with Paula from above was to try and keep control of the hatches, keep control of admin, and then just wait and force Immortals to have to clear all 3 floors. And you gotta give them credit. Immortals were able to clear out the top, the middle, and the bottom floor in 1:50 seconds, 2 minutes after they were able to get off drones. It's decent timing, and even though it came down to the wire, Immortals did appear to be in full control the whole time. Also, I just want to make a correction, by the way.
What's that?
I was informed that in our latest DLC, Morocco is in Africa, which, by the way, I am aware of, but to the best of my knowledge, Fortress is not in the Pro League map pool.
Oh!
Conflict is the only African map. I might have been clunky in my wordage, but I am aware that the latest operation is in Africa. But Consulate is the only one in Africa in the Pro League map pool. And until Fortress gets in there, it will remain with the only distinction of being the only African map.
Attackers are moving out to locate.
You tried to check him, and he doubled down.
Well, to be fair, Fortress is in the ranked map pool, so I mean, there's 2 African maps.
Did you say map pool? I don't exactly remember you.
I don't remember if I said game. I don't remember. I think I said it was the only African map. In which case, it's just clunky language. I'm aware that Morocco is in Africa. I own a
Are you?
I own a map.
You own a map?
Yes. Is that strange? I don't own a globe, but I own a map.
I mean, I usually just use the internet, but that's neat.
Thank you.
It's top floor. Going upstairs for the 3rd bomb site from Liquid. And they've got a pretty decent setup here. They've got all the right tools. Yet again, though, Echo not in play, despite being left unbanned. Definitely one of the most powerful operators, especially in my mind, on this bomb site.
Yeah, very strange, actually, not to see an Echo here. Also, kind of odd not to see a Mira. A lot of teams using that Mira strat over on the admin side of things. But, I mean, some teams, with the way that they defend this site, they won't put any investment whatsoever in the admin office, and you'll basically allow the attackers to take it for free and then reposition and try to stop them as they transition over towards Visa stairs, lock down yellow stairs, which appears to be what Liquid has right at this moment. And well, Cyber will get down amidst the toxic gas, and he's not going to get picked up. I don't know if Sexy Cake is aware that he's down the glass, but they could be able to dive on a free kill here.
Unfortunate. I don't think they're aware.
Oh, there goes an impact. There was a read to be had. Navi's down from 2 impacts, and there goes another toxic canister as Bullet on the window doing an excellent job to shut Nest down, and it is just a slugfest right now as PX will open up this lead that Immortals had, and it will grow as it's now 5v2, Cyber grabbing Zig. It's up to Paula and Gohan, but almost everybody on Immortals lost a little bit of their HP. Paula, a belated refrag onto Cyber, but that's going to be it for the time being. All the Capital utility will be expended trying to take down Gohan, and Paula will be able to get himself back from the dead, but the resurrection will end there. Navi's pulls out the pistol and jumps into the site. And that's 2 in a row for Immortals now on attack.
That round was a battle of the wills. You saw so many times there, Liquid had the opportunity to put it in their favor, but they did not commit fully to the plays that would have given them the round. Immortals, on the other hand, diving deep, committing to everything, also getting very lucky in the process. Many a time, it seemed as though Immortals was going to lose a player there, whether from the impacts or the gas canisters. Now, I should remind all of the newer viewers, as I often like to do, that points are disabled in Pro League. So in case you're watching and wondering why Liquid didn't commit fully to the push on the yellow stairs, it's entirely possible that for a moment there, or both moments there, they were not aware that any players had been down. So fairness to them, sometimes it can be hard to tell at those angles. But at the same time, again, my mind is screaming, if Liquid had committed to holding yellow, would have been a totally different story. I mean, put your smoke on yellow. He's the perfect instrument to hold that staircase. It's what we often see played at that position. But Liquid didn't commit. They played their smoke too safe. And Sexy was not able to do anything because of that. He was easily locked up from the B windows, at the top of yellow, the bathroom window, forced into an odd angle and finished off after his teammate was taken down in bathroom. So just unfortunate there for Liquid. It's hard for them to, or hard to really say if they knew what was going on there on the yellow stairs, but either way, it would have been nice to see them commit to just holding yellow regardless.
It was just an absolute calamity.
Yeah.
It was.
It was that as well.
Yeah, it's just, you know, they were trading back and forth. You almost got 2 revives going on there. There were 3 down but not outs, and then nobody got finished off, and then finally somebody got finished off, and then 2 people were finished off, and the next thing you know, half the people were dead, and you left yourself sitting there scratching your head going, what did we just witness? So,
yeah.
Back down to the garage, Liquid's only successful defense so far. And once again, Immortals will be tasked with trying to work away against this clock. Liquid did an excellent job controlling information, and that grenade gets tossed with 0 cooking whatsoever. Just like me when I'm at home, 0 cooking. And Sexy Cake, able to take out Navi's as the Zofia gets a little too aggressive, and I think that he would have suspected that grenade would have pushed somebody from Liquid off. It did, but Sexy Cake returned to the scene of the crime and is rewarded with a kill. We'll shut down Navi's, both of his impacts, and as well those 2 disruptive concussive blasts that come out of the lifeline. Now, a lot of times when you decide to clear out console, you need to start upstairs, be it in the console office side of things or admin. That's exactly where Cyber is. He's over in the admin portion. Once you get control of that 3rd floor, or that 2nd floor rather, as it is technically the 3rd floor on the map, but the 2nd floor, if you include the basement, you can then move down towards the main floor. And it actually doesn't look like he's done that. He's just gone towards the roof, and I think he's going to probably rotate over, because he's only got a minute left. You're going to have to hurry to get these garage panels open.
I like that Evil Eye placement, or that appears to be what it is. Good control there. Cyber going to use his smoke cover to push into the site, though, and he cannot be contested as he is a glass through smoke and gets 2 easy kills on Go On and Sexy Cake. The run out from Paula, though, will net 1. The Firebolt going to do some damage as he attempts to run back inside, and he cannot see the planter, so will not be able to deny it. Meanwhile, Cyber has the site on lock, and PX will take down Nesk on the yellow stairs. The follow-up isn't there, though. Not enough bullets, and Zig gets 2. Bullet himself, though, the final kill. And Immortals take it 3 in a row.
Beautiful shot there, and once again, this was a much faster round for Immortals. I felt like they found their footing, and they're just warming up for the time being. Some of those criticisms about Liquid and the way that they struggled at DreamHack Winter as well in Sweden, especially against Trust Gaming. Not to downplay Trust Gaming, but they're a team who are definitely of Challenger League caliber, but are not in Challenger League, and they gave Liquid a run for their money twice, beating them once and almost beating them a 2nd time.
Yeah, Trust definitely one of those teams that has their credible moments. Now, here we go. 3-1, Immortals in the lead. This a match many people said and voted going into it. Liquid would be the dominant team. Clearly not the case, and I think most of us knew that to be true. This would be a nice even one. But Liquid has been struggling in these last 3 rounds. They're going to go back to the off-site, which is actually where they started losing. Well, they're going to need to start changing things if they want to bring this back. Now, I will say it's entirely possible this has to do with side preference, though it's Consulate. This is not, this isn't Coastline, this isn't Clubhouse. Consulate is differing in what it prefers in terms of attack or defense. It waves with the meta.
It's pretty balanced.
It's overall, it's very balanced. Yeah,
and it
that's what I was trying to get at.
It also depends on the site. There's, especially with Coastline. Coastline is overall attacker favored, but Kitchen is now very attacker favored. A lot of times we used to say, oh, we expect the defenders to win Kitchen on Coastline, but now that's not the case. In fact, it's Hookah, or the double bars that actually has the best on Coastline. So these things change, right? And I think with Coastline, or I think with Consulate, when you look at it here, typically you expect that the defense can do a good job on that bottom floor. But on the top floor, it's a pretty mixed bag. And of course, I would obviously have to go off of the real statistics. This is just my gut feeling. If you recall, I said, I feel like, which means that I basically have no accountability over my statements. But attacking the garage with a thermite ban from Immortals, it's a little bit more difficult.
Now he's managed to make his way into Z already, but lo and behold, he's got barricades in his way. So, You may be wondering, what is he doing? Well, the barricades are a sound cue, and he doesn't want to give his position away until he has more information. His teammates have droned out, though, all the way to Visa, and will make a call. He's going to open up that wall very quickly. Immortals have control of Garage. It's odd that there's no one trying to fight this. The last time the offsite was played by Liquid, they were defending Garage, at least for a while. The Immortals have managed to get it with only half of the round being used. So that's decent efficiency there from the attack. And this is how they attacked last time. They wanted to push into the B bomb site, but they shifted to A because they lost too many people on this push. This time around, though, they are looking in good form. They have not lost anyone early, and they have all the right tools to make the site push into B really hurt for Liquid.
Once again, this Teller's defense is going to be very interesting. We're not able to pull it off the first time, in large part because the main floor wrestled into Immortals' control. But Liquid doing a better job of staying alive, as you mentioned. If you recall correctly, it was Paulo who's playing upstairs as the Mute who got caught out earlier on. The major spear for almost all these attacks from Immortals' side of things tends to be Cyber, and it doesn't look like it will be any different this time around. Bullet will get shut down by Nesk with 40 seconds to go in this round.
Reloading.
You see it's the dock of Paula still playing upstairs, so he was on the Mute before, but he'll be on the dock watching, possibly trying to take control of the A site. Second smoke from Cyber will go out, allowing him to push in, and oh no, he misses! Looks the wrong way, and Gohan tossing out the C4 will get a monstrously large kill. Two members from Immortals falling, and Liquid in good position to just hang on, as good as any. PX hoping there's a comeback in the cards. Hill fell Gohan. C4 from the Mute is already gone, so it was pure fragging potential at this point. And Paula eliminates Navi's, means that Immortals in free fall now with Zig down, and Nesk will take out M King with both PX and M King falling as your final two. Zig and Nesk, two big frags within a second of each other. And tie it up.
It looked pretty good.
Or no, rather, it's 3-2.
For Immortals for a while there. And then what happened? They hit a wall. And what wall was that? Lack of information. They didn't drone a single inch of the site, it seemed. You saw there at the end, Glaz, Cyber, trying to push his way in. But where is he looking? Nowhere. That there is an opponent. He's too cautious. His smoke placement, not great. Why? Again, lack of information. Need to drone out the site before you push it. So that is, I don't know, I guess a pretty obvious mistake on Immortals' side. Unfortunate that they had no remedy to that. Possibly lost too many drones on the initial clear into Garage. All said and done though, and Liquid have finally fought back and managed to stop the streak that Immortals was on. Now they get their final defense in the first half.
I'd be too surprised to see this one be a draw on this half.
I wouldn't be surprised either. I mean, overall, I wouldn't be surprised if this goes to 6-6.
I've been impressed with Immortals, though, and the contributions that we see from both Bullet and M King.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still the same song and dance for Immortals, though. You know, you've got Navis and you've got Cyber doing a lot of the work in terms of fragging, but that's just because of the roles, and that's what it comes down to, right? It's the supporting cast around Immortals that you really needed to focus on, and that's what it looks like they've improved upon. By adding M King and Bullet, Immortals looks like an improved team. For Liquid, there's still a bunch of question marks. Inconsistency is going to be a big issue with Liquid, and I think they're going to need to get that under control here. Maybe Immortals just is a stronger foe, and Liquid will find themselves, but they also haven't had a lot of time to practice, too. It's only been a couple weeks now since this roster's been assembled.
And it's entirely possible that because of that, I mean, that's why maybe why we didn't see enough droning in the last round. It could be a big contributing factor that they just haven't properly assigned the droning roles to anyone in particular. It would be good for them to fix that soon, though. But this is, of course, their last attacking round. So if they end this 3-3, they're okay. They can still recover it. When you're on defense, you don't have to worry as much about your synergy. It's definitely more important on attack. Though I do feel like that's going to favor Liquid a little bit, because I feel as though Liquid has been doing very well in terms of working together. The cohesion as a unit seems to have improved since the roster changes. And I feel like that is going to aid them quite a lot on attack. Though, could be wrong. Notice how I said I feel like?
It's because you don't have any accountability.
Exactly.
Per se.
Yeah.
Because they can't tell you that your feelings are wrong.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's the way it works. Right. You make objective statements. You're in for a world of hurt there.
Yeah.
Be proven wrong.
It's painful, man. It can hurt.
First Finka boost is going to hit as they manage to get to 90 seconds in, or the first Finka boost that we are capable of seeing head on. And while it's still an investment in admin, I feel like investing in administration is probably the wisest bet for the time being, though.
It's a good way to build up a business.
You need to, that is true.
Yep.
Make sure that you manage your investments well.
Yeah.
Having a good administration is a great foundation for any business. You'll hear a Legion Mine get hit from Nesk, who is doing a great job inside of Piano, trying to fend off multiple people, and Cyber actually looks like he's going to get picked up due to that Finka boost. Nesk still getting marked down, and it's Navi's who's going to be able to control what little recoil there is when the Adrenal Surge is going. He'll grab kill number 1. Nesk was very certainly a dead man, though, and all he was trying to do, waste as much time as possible. Paul on the roam, taking out Cyber, and he's still just situated inside of this bathroom. There's another who's going to peek him, but you got to get past him first. Oh, and Bullet sees the leg. Manages to get a nice headshot to finish off Paula. Sexy Cake also going down to Navi, so you've got Zig with that masterful LMG, and well, with Gohan departing, Zig is going to need to carry a lot of weight here. Immortals trying to break open this first half. Going on to Evil Eye cams. Zapping away at the planter is Zig, hoping to be able to take out the Hibana, but PX is at full HP. And MK watching the cross with that LMG in hand. It appears to be the beautiful new lava skin as well that comes available with the Year 4 Seasons Pass. Get it today on Uplay or other participating retailers. Excellent job by Immortals. They'll take the first half 4-2.
That was clean. As was that take from Immortals. Very well done, and a big part of that was just them winning fights. I mean, let's be honest. Let's break it down. Liquid was set up pretty well. All things considered, they had 2 roamers above, they had 3 anchors in good positions with the right tools to hold a push, especially in from Garage. But Immortals, every time they peaked, one of Liquid's players getting a kill. Except for that fight that Paulo managed to win upstairs, which we did not see. It was pretty much just Immortals winning fights. And there's not a whole lot to say about that. When you run up against the defense, and the defense is set up as they want to be, and they're still losing fights, I mean, yeah, you outskilled them. Immortals just outskilled Liquid in that last round. As much fuck as I'm going to get for saying that. It's true. And it happens from time to time. Seems as though Liquid was out of position in a lot of cases as well. Nesk especially, playing by Piano, you're right, he was a dead man. But peeking wild and wide from Piano, yeah, he could live on his island for a few more seconds. He could just stay there for a bit. Try to delay a little bit longer. Maybe Liquid getting a little ahead of themselves. Maybe seeing that they're losing this match, trying to remedy that by getting a little too aggressive. It's possible. However, that said, that aggression will likely aid them now that they have transitioned onto attack. And again, I have to say, I think that Liquid's synergy on attack is going to really shine. I hope so. Otherwise, this is going to be a pretty quick match for Immortals.
Liquid has always struck me as a team that would do better on attack, kind of the reverse ninjas in pajamas, who I think is much more formidable on defense. At least in my mind, it definitely their defensive prowess stands out more than their attacking one. But for Liquid, I mean, all of the highlight clips that you really see from this team tend to be on attack. Of course, obviously, there's that Nest clutch, which obviously proves me wrong. But at the same time, if Liquid can't get one of the next 2 or 3 rounds, I mean, mathematically, they would lose if they don't get at least one of the next 3 rounds. But if they're unable to grab one of the next 2 or at least 2 of the next 3, I think they're in a lot of trouble because Liquid, especially with the addition of Gohan, is going to be a team that is going to be a little bit emotional, I would say. Also, that's a very fitting name to get banned in the middle of this map.
I did not catch it. What was it?
Toto by Africa. Great song. Excellent song.
I bless the rain.
Nope.
Down in Consulate. You said it was in...
It is technically...
In us.
It is in Africa.
Yeah. It's clever.
Right now, you're seeing excellent mute work that tends to emerge on Consulate because of the narrow lanes into the site and because of the fact that it can be a little bit tricky to get into the second floor of Consulate. And well, you're gonna see great. You're gonna see some great mute play. You're not gonna see some great smoke play. Excellent from Gohan, upside down repel, and Cyber just is gone.
We've seen a lot of players just giving themselves away in this match. Have you noticed it for both teams? I gotta be honest. It just started for Immortals, obviously, because they just started on defense. But there's a lot of that going on Liquid side too.
Very reckless.
Yeah. So big mistake there from Cyber. Not a good operator to lose in the last couple seconds of the round. You could see, and we do have Bullet still downstairs, able to use his C4. Great position to deny a plant. He's actually going to be pushing his way into Visa, though, and there is no flank hold right this minute. There's a player potentially to watch the flank, and that's Paula, but he's looking the wrong way, so this could be a very easy kill for Bullet if he times it right, and yes, indeed, he will. From behind, Paula goes down, and Bullet gets the free kill, allowing for rotation of M-King. Gohan's working his way into the site, though, and he's got so little time. He will come up behind Navi's. No one watching long desk, and a double for Gohan. He downs the Mira, and he's going to get actually a third as well. That's incredible. The IQ tearing all of the anchors apart, forcing the roamers to come back and allowing for the defuse plant. I believe, in fact, it was also Gohan to get the defuse plant. So excellent job. The solo clear for the IQ, and now all he needs to do is hold against the last two defenders in the post. With so little time left, M-King and Bullet working their way back. Bullet has managed to work his way underneath and will get a C4 onto Sexy Cake. So that's a good start to this clutch. M-King challenging from long desk, not an easy situation. Zig will take down Bullet, leaving just M-King. And his position given away. Gohan gets the final kill, and if I'm not mistaken, 4 for him in the round. An excellent clear, just walking into sight. And as much as, honestly, I want to praise Gohan, and I think he deserves it, it was just allowed to happen by Immortals.
Somebody from Immortals was just not watching, and that is a big problem. Obviously, whether you're able to shut Gohan down or not, the fact that he's able to get away with that unpunished is a problem that your team will have to figure out at some point. Somebody wasn't watching an entrance that they needed to watch. That's really what it boils down to. Somebody fell off. Could have been maybe that the smoke inside a bathroom was also maybe tasked with rotating, and somebody then could have watched Visa. I really don't know. Because you also had the mute playing on Visa, if I remember correctly, at Bullet 1, so it was interesting positioning there. And Immortals basically throwing away a round that started badly and only got worse. Losing the smoke early on, and snowballed.
I think the reason that they didn't think, or that they didn't account for Gohan just walking down long desk is they would have assumed that he would turn around to fight the two players at the top of Visa stairs. I think that's the whole thought process there for Immortals. They're like, oh yeah, no, if there's someone there, he's gonna just try and fight our mute who came up behind at Visa stairs. Instead, Gohan was like, I'm just gonna seize the opportunity presented to me. And he avoided the two Visa players. Incredible. On both ends. Now, it's done. Moving on. Immortals, second defensive round. Since they were unsuccessful upstairs, they're going to choose to go somewhere new. I like this adjustment. We were seeing this from Liquid as well. They kept the ball rolling. No repeats back-to-back in the first half for Liquid, and none thus far for Immortals. They have roamers on the top floor, and that's going to be a big hurdle for Liquid, of course, as per usual. Admin clear for Liquid to start things off. Of course, not having the Thermite means that your Hibana is going to have to pull double duty. It also means that you're more likely to attack through the drop-downs rather than the reinforced panel outside.
It's really telling of Maverick's role in this meta, with the fact that with a Thermite ban, teams are not bringing him, and it's just because he's, time and time again, I feel we just have to stress this, he is not an operator that you bring to open things up. You can bring him for hatches, maybe, but that's about it. It's pretty limited outside of that. He's more of a, he pokes you with he pokes a hole through the metal, and then he shoots through the hole. That's it. That's how it works. And yeah, like you said, Hibana having to pull double duty here, it's pivotal that Zig stays alive. Now, last round, it was great that Zig did. This round in particular, just imagine him to stay close to the rest of his team, or they'll probably situate him all the way on his lonesome down by the garage door and just have him wait ever so patiently. He's going to be on drones for the time being, though, and he's going to spot Cyber playing inside of the piano room. Navi's eliminates Sexy Cake, and down goes your Ying, though Immortals sustaining quite a lot of damage in the process. And you'll see Nesk back on Old Reliable on Ash. He'll drop one inside a circle desk. Gohan will get the cleanup, and Nesk looking for another. Oh, beautiful control to take out Cyber. And Immortals at a numbers advantage, and they'll lose it.
I think it's good that Nesk has brought back the Ash. And, of course, only the second round that he will be attacking, so plenty of time for that to have happened.
A really big
But definitely a tool that he knows how to utilize. It's going to be Habana opening up that main garage panel, same as what we saw from Immortals when they were attacking onto the bottom floor. There's still a good setup here for Immortals, especially considering Nesk is lit. It's still easily winnable for the defense, especially, again, even more so considering we were down to the last 20 seconds. As we do see a pretty decent setup.
Where has the time gone? As this entry from Liquid has stalled out since then, and they will need to close in on Immortals. Evil Eye has not been taken care of. Oh, M-King gets one, looks for a second, but PX will connect. And Immortals in the driver's seat. They just need to sit on the diffuser. And that's exactly what they'll do. M-King finishing off Paula as bullet falls as well, but the Maestro just perseveres. And Immortals will stretch their lead. They are 2 away from victory and 1 away from match point. A good hold as any on that garage.
So, defense looking very strong for Immortals right now. Not exactly playing out the way we were expecting it to. Gohan did manage to win Liquid the first round of the second half. But if it weren't for his efforts, it could have very easily been an Immortals round, and we could be on match point right now at 6-2. Immortals looking, again, very formidable on the defensive side. They will be going back upstairs, as they were not able to defend it, and they apparently do not want to go to the middle or tellers. Totally fair reasoning, I think, for Immortals.
Actually very surprised that we haven't seen lobby yet. I would imagine that a part of it is, well, I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me, because I was going to say, this is one of those rare games where Smoke, Echo, Maestro, and Mira are all available for you to use.
Again, I mean, you said it. It's the Valkyrie. I mean, Valkyrie would have been banned on this map regardless of her buff. It's Consulate. But it is so weird to see happen. And Jaeger being banned out, Liquid are relying on those throwables, but they haven't really been using them to that much, an extent so far. It has been a weird match thus far, and we will be seeing the Ying actually finally see play from Liquid. So I feel like this is what they were building up to.
Well, they had second cake on Ying last time, but he died early.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's what I was about to say. I was going to say, but the question is, will he be able to actually play the round this time?
Yeah, when I think of his Ying play from last round, I would like to see more of it.
Yes.
Pardon the pun. Now, big question for me is are Immortals going to work at all on holding off admin, or is this going to be just a slugfest over on the side of Yellow Stairs? Because a lot of teams would have just brisk pace, just walked right into admin, swept in, mind you. But Liquid right now, for the time being, they get a mirror window for their troubles. It's inside a connector. They're also able to get a lot of marks and basically push all of Immortals back off of the console office side of things.
Liquid effectively has control of B right now. They don't have the Blackbeard, so they can't play him on the window for cover. They do have the Candelas, but they don't have a set of smokes. So they can't necessarily go for the repel in. Bullet is also set up perfectly right now. He could run out, deal with the Claymore, and then potentially get some kills on anybody repelling for B window. Also, if he manages to survive that endeavor, he can later C4 from below to deny a plant. So Bullet is a huge linchpin right now for Immortals defense, and that's why Liquid might want to put an emphasis on him. I think they are sending Paula downstairs. No, it's not Paula, but there is somebody, I believe, attempting to clear him, however slowly.
It's funny how the tighter these games get, the rounds always slow down. And I mean, Immortals doesn't need to be in a hurry because they're on defense. They just need to hold map control and force Liquid to make errors when the clock becomes a greater enemy than the 5 members of IMT. You still got M-King in the same position he was before, just over by Admin, and Sexy Cake will toss in 1 Candela, and yeah, it might blind PX. PX was able to see the C4 out and take out Sexy Cake. Nesk in, he falls to Cyber after claiming 1, and Navi's and Gohan will drop Bullet. So excellent job to try and keep this close. Cyber holding a great angle inside a bathroom, absolutely destroying Zig, who now with his position being spotted will get finished off by Gohan, and Paula is there too. So M-King with an ACOG, he's getting marks, but he has to watch yellow stairs, and he sees the IQ of Gohan. The diffuser from Liquid will go down quite successfully. Trying to figure out where the Buck and the IQ are in this position will be harrowing, and oh, he'll find the Buck. Takes out Paula. Do we see a clutch in the making? That was very smart play there. Paula using the skeleton key to open up the floor so Gohan can play beneath prior to the Buck perishing. M-King might be able to actually long-arm this depending on what's going on, but we'll need to be very wary of a drone, and there you go. He does destroy the drone and starts for the disable, but can't do it all the way from the desk. In a position now where, there you go, Gohan sees him and they'll outduel each other, but the time is out, so Immortals will not win the round. Liquid, no matter what happens to Gohan, even though he falls, and M-King does what's needed to finish off every single member of the enemy team. Clock on that diffuser runs out too early. Liquid will take the round.
A big part of that being the downstairs control slipping away from Immortals, and yellow stairs going very decisively in Liquid's favor. Gohan, again, the star of the show. Good coordination between he and Paula to get it done there in the end, but still Gohan to clutch it. And he's really been standing apart in this match. I think, if I can be honest, Gohan, so far, seems like he fits a lot better on Liquid. I feel like he's just been, I think, coming into his own in this team. Remember when we saw Cantor Raketti jump from Ents to G2? I mean, well, I guess originally it was Penta, but when he jumped from team to team, Cantor Raketti always being one of the best players in Europe, but I feel, you know, you fit in certain teams better. And Cantor Raketti really fits on G2. Maybe Gohan really fits on Liquid. At least on Consulate. Certainly on Consulate he has been performing above and beyond. This would be, right now, I think, a done match if Gohan were not playing right this minute.
Gohan adds a lot of things to the team. He brings a lot of fragging potential. He can be a running mate with Nesk as well in terms of entry and in terms of playing on defense. He can allow Nesk to stay more entrenched on site, which Nesk does tend to like to do. We see Nesk playing a lot on that smoke roll as well. And basically Nesk can be in a position where it'll be possibly Zig, possibly Gohan, and possibly Nesk sitting on site, or even Sexy Cake jumping in. It really, really depends. But it's the leadership as well that he brings in terms of being a great IGL. You know, you had Nesk IGLing previously, if I remember correctly, at one point PSK also IGL'd. Zig helped with some calls. Gohan brings a committed voice to that. And the compliments that we've paid towards the members of Immortals who have joined onto the squad, both M-King and Bullet One, I think you can level a lot of compliments over at Paula as well as Gohan too. And oh man, speaking of Palu, it's going to take quite a bit of damage, and I think he knows there's somebody there, but I don't think he saw it at the beginning. He's not able to connect all the way up back into console office, which, by the way, this will be the third time that Immortals is going to this site. They've lost twice so far. And if Liquid pulls it out, we'll be all tied up 5 apiece.
Slow going here on this B window. Zig's looking for a fight, but he's too afraid to take the one offered. Sensible. I mean, you said it yourself in the previous round, the tighter these matches get, the slower both teams will play. I'm seeing that exact theory play out right now, where both teams are just doing everything they can not to risk themselves. Bullet gonna give away his position, do a little bit of damage to Gohan, but I don't know if it's really worth it. Cyber will eliminate Zig though, from long desk. Good angle play there, I believe under the B window where Zig was repelling. Which is an excellent shot, especially with the reflex from that distance. So Liquid at a disadvantage, I would say early on, but in the final minute, just feels early considering how late these engagements are coming.
The last 3 rounds have been very slow in terms of action here. And I think Nesk is going to try to jump maybe. I'm not certain. I can't remember if they've patched this and they've unpatched this like a dozen times.
I think you can still do it, it's just extremely difficult.
Nesk he just catches himself, but this is going to be tense to say the least, and see what befalls the Ash of Nesk perched atop the yellow stairs, just like the Dark Knight, waiting. Sexy Cake lasting a lot longer than usually, takes quite a bit of damage. Nesk does manage to make it in on the yellow stairs, but only 10 seconds to go, and Bullet will get punished as Sexy Cake falls to a C4 for the second round in a row. Paulo eliminating M-King. PX trades off onto Nesk, and Paulo will try to watch as Plant goes down. In vain, PX taking out Paulo, and Immortals will hang on in large part because of the fact that a great echo play existed in the dying seconds to knock the IQ off, and it'll be Immortals, now seated on match point, finally winning console office upstairs.
So a quick sidestep to explain to those who are a little bit confused what we were talking about with Nesk. If you drop into that skylight, as you saw Nesk do, you will catch hovering in midair. And if you time it right, if you time your crouch or prone correctly, you can slide out of that hover and drop on the little overhang of the stairs. We don't know that that's necessarily what Nesk did, though it looks like he was successful. We didn't catch it on screen, unfortunately. But it looks as though he actually pulled it off. As Parker said, it has been patched and unpatched a couple of times, as many of the things in Siege have. But that is, yeah, that's one of those. And it was discovered, what, like season 4 is when that one was figured out?
I feel like you could jump and vault it, and then you couldn't, and then you could still boost up on top of it.
Yeah.
You could drop, and you couldn't drop, and then you die every time.
It's one thing I do know. I'm pretty sure it's always been doable. It's just gotten more and more difficult. I think that it's exceptionally hard to pull off these days, but I'm not 100% sure because, to be honest, it's not something you see very often. It's an odd play to make, and the reason is if you miss it, you are downed. That's why, of course, it seems like Nesk did not miss it because he didn't get down, and he was in there pretty quick.
Vaults find a way.
Yep. So, despite that impressive feat from Nesk, the rest of his team unsuccessful. And I think you got it right. It was the yokai drone play. Again,
it knocked the IQ out a number of times.
Yeah, and again, that's the puzzling thing, right? We've seen Echo so little in this match, yet he's not banned. It's just teams they're not bringing him.
Not even just Echo. We've seen very little Zofia. Liquid was one of the few teams that ran Zofia almost every single round. And I think that loss to her concussion has pushed Ashe back into the meta to a certain extent more than before. If you remember, Ashe's pick rate started to decline with the release of Zofia, and now, well, Ashe is back and in a hurry. As some would say, possibly OP? Question mark? I don't know. You decide. So
I'm not going to weigh in on that. I'm just going to leave that alone.
Could be our final round here between these two teams and what has been probably our most exciting matchup. I don't know, the NIP phase match, this is back and forth as they come as well. It needed every single round, and well, we're not quite there just yet. We're sitting on the 11th round, and it's match point in favor of Immortals. 90 seconds in, and a Gumine will get triggered by Palu on the buck. He's taking 10 damage and needing to stop for a second to pull and needle out. And after he does so, Navi's likely trying to creep up on him, knowing that he was wounded, but Palu gets that anyway.
I was about to say Immortals in a really good position last minute, but they've lost a player now. And they're getting more aggressive after losing that player because I suppose they want to even things out. But it's very dangerous. There's nobody playing outside of Garage right now for Liquid, not a soul. And the wall is open. Looks like it's actually going to be a rotation here. So they solved that problem. They're going to be able to use that crossfire that they established using the Hibana charges earlier in the round. Liquid are trying to finesse their setup as much as possible, as they know it's make it or break it here. And then it'll still be make it or break it in the next round if they make it to that round. Last 30 seconds. Immortals still in a good spot.
Oh no, Bullet trying to get the C4 up, and I don't think he
What?
realizes it. No, Bullet, it wasn't large enough. I think he was trying to get it through the small opening. Nesk will be the first volley. Bullet, and that C4 gets nothing. He goes, but PX has been so good with these C4s so far. Diffuser down for Liquid. This will be their third crack at it. PX felled, Cyber, as well as M-King, but Gohan in with the pistol, a double kill. He'll just have to silence M-King. He's still there, suppressed, and just waiting against the lumbering Maestro. He'll go for the reload, knowing that time is not on his side. Just waiting around that bomb chassis, but neither can connect, as it's just, right now, game of cat and mouse. Pulling out the bailiff. He'll light up Gohan, and finally, M-King will down him, but if you watch the clock at the top, even if he were to sprint as quickly as he could, he's not getting there. And that'll be Liquid edging closer towards a draw. They'll take round 11.
And we go to the final possible round. Remind you all, again, no OT, as Parker stated. If Liquid are able to win the next round, it will be a draw. If Immortals take it, then yeah, they'll still win. But, man, Gohan. I mean, okay. Once the diffuser was planted, that round was over, essentially. But Gohan secured it. He locked it up. Walking in to kitchen, 2 pistol kills. Almost got the third. Mirror window, I think, was the reason he didn't manage to secure that final kill, though he came very close. Really performing. You know, I don't know if it's that he fits better on this team or if he's just enthusiastic. Renewed vigor, possibly. Whatever it is, he's having a match. All to himself. Now, basement defense, the last stand for Immortals. Make it or break it here. Tie or you get the points that you're working for. I mean, I think if you look at that scoreline, I'm really seeing Immortals deserving a win here. I mean, look at how even that is. There's Cyber, the least performance, 6 kills, and
10 seconds remaining.
you know, honestly, it's not that the rest of his team's picking up the slack, and it definitely seems like they've been playing this really well as a unit, but struggling with certain individuals.
Attacker's objective is to defuse.
Unlike the last game where every single player on both Ince and Pain typically did quite well, you're going to see Immortals and Liquid here just with obvious standout performers. And I think that's a large part of the way that these teams play, too, right? So here we have it, the very final round. Match point for Immortals, looking to grab those points in a victory. All 3 of them. Liquid hoping to at least walk away with 1. Well, they're going to have to come to them. Immortals will be the team on defense. They're going to go back down to Garage. They won it once, and Immortals lost it a second time.
Of course, Liquid going to be running up the top floor, trying to figure out what they're dealing with. It's mostly anchors right now for Immortals. Do have somebody playing aggressively on Spiral. That's Navi's. Last time we saw Navi's play aggro, he actually was taken out pretty early, and his loss was felt by Immortals later in the round. Would have been really nice to have him in play. He's not going to leave himself that exposed this round. He has been droned out by Sexy, so information definitely in Liquid's favor. If they're able to get that mute pick, that would be very nice, but it looks as though he's going to fall back.
We haven't really seen the impact that Sexy Cake has been able to have on a round so far. He's actually had quite a bad day
Yes.
up until this point. Not really doing too much on the scoreboard. Might be doing a lot in terms of droning, but after that, his utility usage has been missed on many of these rounds. Obviously, it's not going to go so great when you are Ying and you can just crack open an entire site and allow this rush strat that we see from Liquid on a lot of occasions, especially with Gohan and Ness being able to just sprint in and take advantage of their opponents being vulnerable. So I would imagine if Sexy Cake manages to make it to the end here, it's going to go quite well in Liquid's favor. But once again, map control in Liquid's hand to a certain extent, but still eluding them fully as there's just a minute to go.
Yep. And this, again, you know, you come down to the last minute, 5 versus 5. Everybody on defense is anchoring, and it's the brawl. It could go either which way, but it will be the final round as we in this last 35 seconds.
Credit to Liquid for being able to open up those garage panels early on as there's an army crawl. A bunch of Liquid deciding to engage in Tough Mudder just outside of the garage. It looks like they might actually be in, but M-King wrestling for the time being with some client-side destruction here. There you go, Sexy Cake hucks out the Candelas, but he's gunned down, and Zig is as well. M-King from a commanding position atop his throne, at least for the time being, looks for another. Oh, he'll get Gohan. Sexy Cake finished off, and Immortals just needs the one, and Navi's will guarantee it. Immortals, it takes every single round, but they finally get a win on the board and shut Liquid out. 7-5 scoreline for Immortals as they grab the W.
I believe also a perfect round there for Immortals, proving their name, and well done. I really can't say anything other than M-King. You said it yourself, commanding position, holding firm on a really unexpected angle that Liquid did not account for.